Hari Om, dear. Om. Here, let's begin by chanting Om together 3 times. We're going to talk about malas in this section. So exhaling completely and a deep inhale into the abdomen. Om. 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 Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Ambalo Sakar Sivananda Maharaji ki Jai, for all the saints and sages of all the traditions. Jai. Hello, dear. So we're discussing mantra and japa, and we've already talked about, and if you haven't seen, there should be a video above this in the playlist. We've already discussed mantra. What is a mantra? What is japa? Japa yoga. How to engage, how to select a mantra, how to select my mantra, personal mantra, and then how to practice with the mantra. And that brings us to one of the ways to practice is to practice by using a mala or prayer beads. And so we'll take a little bit of time here to discuss the prayer beads, the mala, and some of the tips with this. And so here we go. There are prayer beads in every tradition, and the yogi generally calls these prayer beads mala. Mala does have another meaning, which is related to an impurity in the mind, and this mala actually works to clear the impurity in the mind. So it's not that the word has no meaning, but we can say prayer beads. In the yoga tradition, there are 108. It's seen as a sacred number, most sacred number, most high number, having great significance. One of the ways that we can relate to it is that there is one truth, which is absolute, without a second, no second, zero duality, zero other, and infinite, that the reality is infinite. And if you put that 8 on its side, you'll have infinity. So one fun story in order to relate to it. So 108, typically in chanting a mantra, in japa yoga, in repeating a mantra, and in particular in the practice where we're chanting it out loud or whispering it or even mental repetition, we want to get as much support for strengthening the practice in the mind. As we've discussed, it's really about getting the mind inundated, imbued by the mantra, because the mantra permeates the mind and transforms the mind into the divine, which is the energy of the mantra, the underlying energy. And so whatever we can do, that's why we would write a mantra as one of the practices. Whatever we can do to bring as much of the body into it as possible is going to be helpful. And so the repetitive nature of using a mala will help in this way. It helps to strengthen the practice in the mind, and that's what it's about. So we recommend using a mala. We recommend using a mala as much as you can. And generally speaking, when we're given formula, like a doctor would say, take this prescription, well, a yogi will say, chant this mantra X number of times. And with a personal mantra, all the time, basically. It will often be prescribed in number of malas. So 108 times is a mala. And let's say in the morning that the recommendation or the practice is to sit at the altar and chant my personal mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Dum Durgaye Namaha, whichever it is, and to sit using the mala and focus at the altar and chant 4 malas. So that means 4 times 108. So we'll take a moment to focus on how to turn the mala around, which is pretty important in the scheme of things. Now this particular mala is Rudraksha, and Rudraksha is a seed that makes up these beads, so they are organic, the seeds. They come from a tree that grows throughout Southeast Asia, so it's very much an original form for the bead, for the mala. Now, we don't see, this represents Shiva, so we would often see yogis who often are inspired by Shiva, but not, the inspiration is from the absolute, not a limited deity. And so however you relate to the absolute is what's important. So, okay, we don't have to put a lot of significance into the particular material of the mala. So traditionally, Rudraksha. And if you join one of the retreats, Swami makes sure to carry malas for the retreats, be still and no retreats, and you'll be offered one free. So don't wait. But if you'd like a second when we meet, you can have it. And so it can be made of any material. You can make the mala yourself. It's fine. You can select the beads yourself. The Buddhist tradition, rosewood is often used as the material for that. But that's fine. There's not an issue. You can select what you like. If you want to be traditional, then you go with the Rudraksha mala. 108 beads, actually 109, and the 109th is this guy, and this is the counting bead. Counting bead meaning when you get back to it, you know that you've counted one mala 108 times. Have you repeated the mantra? Now, hold the mala on your fingers, and the one important instruction is, you notice I'm not pointing at you and I'm not pointing at anyone with this finger, because this is like in common use, this is as bad as a gun, because we're pointing out all of I'm not going there. So keep it out of the way. Don't go there. So we keep this finger out of the way when we're chanting with the mala. And we use either this finger, I don't know what we call it. I know we call this one the ring finger in the Western traditions. So typically this or this, and then we'll rest the mala, the beads, on the finger, and we'll utilize that. And now you're going to count, and you'll count using the thumb tip. It doesn't mean you're counting 1, 2, 3. You're repeating Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Yes? And you'll know when you get to the counting bead that you've chanted 108 times. So you notice you can go either way. You can go towards you or away from you. It's fine. And you'll see some of us will prefer one direction because it feels more natural, some the other. It's no big deal. No issue. Here's the next part that one wants to be aware of. Let's say that I am chanting by bringing the beads towards me, and I want to chant one mala. So what I'm going to do is take this mala and move my finger to the counting bead. So now the first bead in order is resting on my finger, and I'm going to pull towards me. So let's chant Om Namah Shivaya. We'll chant it just a few times. I put my thumb on the bead. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Yes, we continue. And we will close this video chanting Om Namah Shivaya 108 times. And so if you want to close with the practice, highly recommended, then we'll do that. Now, it's that simple in terms of using the mala, really. Now, sometimes, if you want to be able to use the mala often and you want to be able to use it in public, then there are mantra or mala sacks. Often you'll see them yellow or orange color like this with Devanagari Sanskrit characters written on them of Krishna or Shiva or whatever images such. It's fine. Or plain, just cloth colored, that's fine. Constructed so that we can put the mala and our hand inside the bag and utilize it like this, and nobody knows what we're doing. They might suspect. That's okay. And so, however you choose in that way also, it's fine. Okay, so now let's say that I have chanted Om Namah Shivaya, I've been pulling towards me, and I've gone all the way around, and I am going to chant 3 malas. So now I've come to the counting bead. This is pretty important too. There is significance, energetic significance in it, and that is I am not to cross that counting bead. I am to continue on, but not by crossing it. So there's a trick. And here's the trick, and I'll show you a couple of times. And there are a couple of different ways to do it, but this is Swami's way to do the trick. And that is to turn the mala around, but to do it in a smooth movement. And so it's going to be like this. I'm going to take, the thumb tip is here on the counting bead, right? I'm going to remove the thumb tip. I'm going to place it on the tip of the finger that we're using to hold the mala. I'm going to slide the mala over to the thumb tip, if you can see. And now I'm going to take that finger and slide it back through. And here's what's happened. If you look at it in slow motion, you'll see it. I've turned the mala around. And so now I'm facing the other direction with the mala, even though I continue pulling the beads towards me. Yes? And so now, second, and I get to the end. Third, I get to the end. And each time, just like that, yeah? Okay, so if you need to replay it, you come back to this spot and you can replay it. Now, next, a couple of other points. This is utilizing the mantra. And when you're not using the mantra to chant with it, what to do? Well, most of the time, wear it. And it's not about advertising. It's not about promoting the fact that you're something. I think generally we've had enough of that. So it's about being of benefit and being benefited. It's like this. And there is an energy in the mala. Naturally, there is. But then, because of what it is. But beyond that, as you utilize it, you infuse the beads with the mantra itself. And so the energy, and the mantra is not a mantra. The mantra is a vibration. And it is I don't even want to put more words on it, but it's, up there. It's a big deal. And so as you repeat the vibration and imbibe in the vibration, then the vibration permeates everywhere. And those of you that have chanted mantra a lot, you know this already. It permeates everywhere. It permeates the body becomes the mantra, the mind becomes the mantra, and you're just blissed out after a while. And so, therefore, you can chant it all the time. It's fine, while we're doing our duty. And so, wear how? Like this. Put it under the shirt, under the t-shirt, under all of the accessories, right against the skin. That's ideal. Yeah? And when you can't wear it, you're engaged in physical activity, you're running, you're working outside like that, then keep a cloth bag for it. Cotton or silk is ideal. And put it in that bag and put it in the same place. Put it on your altar, or put it on your nightstand, or put it under your pillow. These are ideal places for it. And you would do the same at night when you're sleeping as well. As you would place it there, care for it. Care for it dearly. And then what else? Well, eventually they break, and that's pretty cool. Don't break it intentionally, for God's sakes, please. If it happens, it happens. But it will break. It will break. Just like this body's going to break, everything breaks. And so let it. When it breaks, that's a cycle of karma complete. Say, Jai! Yay! I go to the next chapter. That much closer to freedom. Let it break. It's fine. And celebrate it. And take the mala that is broken, take it to the river, take it to a moving body of water, and offer it to the river. Offer it to the deity, however you relate to the highest, in the river, and say a prayer. Traditionally, we would chant Maha Mrityunjaya Om Triambakam. Maha Mantra is great as well. Chant it at least 3 times. Offer it to the river. Say a little prayer. Say thank you. Thank you, universe. Thank you, however we relate, for helping me to clear this karma. And then you can contact Swami for a new mala. Or you can acquire a new mala or make a new mala like that. Generally, we would not have multiple malas. They're not jewelry. They're specifically used for this purpose. So, of course, have a beautiful one. But you don't need a collection of them. And honestly, not to be shown off. It's very much our personal practices are personal practices. And we do them for the benefit of the whole. We don't engage in them as a way to correct others or as a way to show off like that. So they are very much personal, related to our own path, our own practice, our own way of becoming free. Okay, so God willing, we've covered what we need to cover, and we will chant Om Namah Shivaya 108 times if you'd like to join. Otherwise, you can go about what you need to go about right now. And if you can join as we close this little video segment, we'll chant Om Namah Shivaya together. And and then we'll send you off with a beautiful blessing. Okay, so let's begin. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 How about that? Okay. Thank you. If we missed something, some question that you have that you don't feel was covered, you can please add a comment there or send an email to swami@divinegraceyoga.org or text or call or go to the website, any of those. God bless us, everyone. Make a wonderful day. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Balu Satguru Sivananda Maharaj Ki Jai for all the saints and sages of all the traditions. Jai.